Hi and welcome to another Tabitha's Glass Emporium YouTube video. Leading up to Remembrance Sunday, I always try and do a project which kind of honours those who gave their lives for our freedoms. And so this year, this is the project I've done. I created this piece using poppies and a cross just to give remembrance to all those people. And today I'm going to show you how to make this. So first of all, what we did was we cut 7 circles, and then we've sliced off the bottom, and then we've drawn the 7 on here. These will be our different layers we're going to do up. So on one layer we want a cross, and we've created the cross in white, and we could just put one of these on top. Now I've really got to make sure the cross is together. I'll use glue. So effectively we're always putting our glass on top. So like the front layer, I'm going to want kind of some bigger poppies, maybe just 3, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to put these on top. And I'm going to build up all the different layers. Now the last layer will be with just, of course when I'm doing this I've lost my sieve. Will just be with will be with powders on it to bring some powder colour. Now guys, if you're using powders, please use your safety gear. I'm only not so you can hear me, but I'm just adding layers of powders. I've got some greens. I'm not worrying about kind of putting a blue for the sky. I think I'm just going to go with greens for this, so it's sort of going green as the background. I'm adding a bit of, that was emerald, this is pea pod. I'm going to add a bit of spring green. You need quite a good layer of colour if you want to make sure that it's sort of good saturation. Otherwise it's a bit clear. And then I'm just going to add a bit of aventurine sort of frit, even concentrating a bit in areas to almost sort of feel like it's sort of could be possible trees in the background. I think I probably might add a bit of blue right up the top with the emerald green, and then I'm going to build up the rest of the layers, and then we can have a look before it goes in the kiln. So I've chosen what's going to be on what layer. The top layer will be with the big poppies, then we'll have the cross, and then we'll have smaller poppies and smaller poppies and smaller poppies. So on the layer of the cross, I put some powders on top, just sort of around, and I'm using a paintbrush to sort of move them around a bit and just give them a sort of delicate edge to the feeling. They'll be very transparent because they're not thick powder at all. Now the rest of them I'm using powder onto the kiln, thin fire, and I'm just sort of again using a paintbrush to move it around, and then I will place the poppies. Now it's sort of trying to remember what's where, so that the cross is here, so these will be behind the cross, and also you know, they might be underneath a bit of this, but I don't mind not putting so many in, maybe a couple kind of towards the edge, and then I will do the same with the next 3 layers. Here it is, all ready to go in the kiln. It will have a very long bubble squeeze, and it's just going to be tack fused, so we just want the Marini encased in the glass, so the glass will relax around the Marini, encase it, and then we can layer it all up together and full fuse it for a second on the second fuse. So it will go in now and we can see how it looks. So here's them out of the kiln. Make sure you're wearing your dust masks when you're taking stuff out of the kiln. You don't want the thin fire residue going in your lungs. We're now going to clean them up. We've got a grinder, so if you don't have a grinder, you can just sort of knock the edges off. Grazing pliers are good to get them off. Give them a really good clean. I'll see how it looks if I need to maybe just sandblast the back. I don't want to sandblast the clear, because then I could end up with veiling that I don't particularly want in this. So I might use vinegar and just various things to give them a really good clean. And then we can stack up the piece and dam it to get it in the kiln, and I can show you how to do that. So here it is all cleaned up, so they're nice and clean, and we've cleaned up the edge. We didn't grind, guys. You're much better off not grinding with this, because if you grind, it's very hard to get rid of the ground edge and it not show up on the finished piece. I've had experience with this in the past, particularly doing paperweights. So now we're going to layer it up. So that is obviously our bottom layer. So that's going to go kind of that way up. And we're going smallest to sort of biggest. So I'm layering them up. I initially was having that one layer from the top, but I've decided to put it 2 layers from the top. I think it looks nicer. And then this at the end. So there's a lot of air in between this. You're going to see. There's a lot of air. When we've done this before, there will be bubbles trapped. Now we're just hoping none of the bubbles will be so big that they'll ruin the piece. So first of all, we're going to do a very, very long bubble squeeze on this. We need to dam it, so we're going to use 6mm fibre paper, and we're not going to even worry about it being really, really tight on it. We're going to just make sure there's space for the air to escape. So as it all relaxes down, hopefully as much air as possible will be pushed out of the piece as possible. And yeah, so we're going to put it in the kiln. We're going to cut some of this, dam the edges. Probably it'll be lower, the dam, than the actual piece, so it'll kind of be down here, so it will sink down and hopefully it will then round off. And then it will go in the kiln. We will have a 2-hour bubble squeeze, and then we'll work out the anneal for, so we've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 centimetres of glass there, plus extra, so let's say 22, 23. And we'll look at the annealing, Bullseye annealing tables for how long that needs to be annealed, and we'll probably add a little bit more because you know, it's already been pre-fused. There's some tricky things in here. There's going to be bubbles, so we'll get this in and show you the setup when it's in the kiln. So here it is, ready to go in the kiln. As you can see, the fibre paper isn't all the way to the top because there's a lot of air in there, but we want it to relax. We're going to put it on a very long, slow fuse, and we can have a look at it when it comes out. So here it is out of the kiln. Luckily none of the bubbles have got too big or come too close to the surface. I'm now going to cold work the edges to make it nice and neat and making sure it stands up and get the roughness off this edge, and we can see how it looks when it's finished. So here it is, I've cold worked the edges. I haven't gone for a full-on polish. I might do in the long term, but I also quite like a satin finish around the edge. I love the feeling of depth you get in this piece. I think it's really beautiful, and it's a really wonderful commemorative piece. I'd always like to, as I said, at this time of year, remember all those who dedicated their lives and lost their lives so that we have the freedoms we enjoy today. And I think it's great if we can all do that and kind of reflect on the amazing choices we have because of the freedoms that are fought for us. So I've done this piece. I hope you like it, and I can't wait to see what you do with some poppies.